everyone, and welcome to our time together. I'm Laurie LaMantia, and I'm here with the beautiful red-clad Tricia Fiske.
Good morning. Yep, all the Christmas stuff is out. Yeah.
Yeah. And today we're going to reflect on this year. Specifically, the intention was joy. And so to just take a look at the joy, where it was, where it wasn't, how we did with respect to joy, and the intention for the year of bringing joy, intending for joy, feeling joy throughout ourselves and our world. So Tricia, I'm gonna throw it over to you and let you start with it.
I would say one of my biggest observations around joy is that it's not related to a particular event or a thing.
Mhm.
It's if it's related to anything, it's presence.
Right.
It's just being present, um, and that being a wondrous thing in itself. And I'll share an example of that is, and I had shared this with you, Lori. My granddaughter was over here. I babysit for my granddaughter every week. And I love it. I mean, she just turned 3. So she is extremely present all the
Mm.
time,
Hmm.
sometimes
Hmm.
in an exhausting way. But she's in love with doorbells right now because her doorbell is a ding dong, but mine buzzes. Bzz, and
Hmm.
that just seemed to fascinate her.
Hmm.
So I went on the computer and I found 17 different doorbell sounds.
Hmm.
And it just went through and all these different sounds. And she got so excited about that. And then I remembered the Paul McCartney and Wings song, Somebody's Knocking on the Door, Somebody's Ringing the Bell. So I put on YouTube and played that song. And just simultaneously, out of the blue, both of us just started dancing and
Hmm.
singing to Somebody's Knocking on the Door, Somebody's Ringing the Bell. And it was a moment of pure bliss and joy. Nothing, just being there, being present.
Right.
No, yeah, no expectations, weren't going anywhere. It was just a moment of pure joy. And
And
so,
presence. I love that.
yes, right. We were just present, right, singing to an old Beatles song.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I love that story. And we did talk about it before on the podcast, but I think it continues to give that understanding that joy isn't an activity necessarily, but it was like a spontaneous something that bubbled up, and I do think when you're present, all things can become possible, the inspiration to put on even doorbell or Google doorbells or whatever.
right,
Um,
right.
and I was noticing for me that when I get overwhelmed, I become so distracted and so I get distracted from the presence, which distracts me from the joy. And I started feeling, what is it, Lori, that takes you in and out of that joy place? That I know that like I was thinking about Christmas gifts and things, and I was like, technically thinking about other people and wanting to buy gifts for people, should bring us joy. But because I got overwhelmed with the
Mm.
joy was starting to be sucked out of it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting how the joy of just thinking about somebody you're wanting to get a gift, was distracted by the overwhelm. And like you started out with, the presence in the moment, without all that mind chatter and the personality making this, Lori bugging herself about doing it right and all that stuff. I mean, when I look over the course of the year about when I was in my joy place, it was when I was present, when I wasn't overwhelmed, and nothing specific was happening. It was just, oh, I feel at peace. I feel in the moment. And and like you said, and then inspiration comes and you're like, oh, you might define that as joy, but I think there's this undercurrent of joy, and we've been calling it abundance, or energy that's always flowing. And if we're not distracted, we are in that joy moment. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yes, it is a presence. If we're in fully in a present moment and not looking to get somewhere or go somewhere or solve something, but just being there, it there is joy in
Yeah.
that. There is joy in that. I did a Google search on my phone for the definition of joy, and I it had a bunch of different ones, but a lot of them were about joyful experiences, like
Right.
something happens. And one that I did kind of connect with said joy is when you connect with nature.
Hmm.
But even that's a thing
A
instead of
doing.
just a being, right? Instead of
Yeah.
just being in that moment for whatever's there.
It,
That's joy.
yeah. Right. And I guess that was my big aha was, because when we started this year, I did have the idea that joy is an activity or an event or a doing, an experiencing. But over the course of watching this year, I have felt that the more present, the less overwhelmed, the more it is a state of being that
Mm-hmm.
you can choose to notice when you get pulled out of that state of being and when you're fully in it. And I think your granddaughter's a perfect example of that we keep coming back to. There's the nuggets are in there, of that presence that allowed the joyful experience. But I think you just enjoy being with her no matter what, the doorbells or I mean, there's just
Right.
presence that is happening that you are in your felt sense of joy too.
It's true because even because she's 3, there are those moments where everything's tears when she's not getting her way, and even those are I treasure. Like I don't get caught up in trying to fix it or why or anything like that. It's just being present. Like I'm just here, and how about a hug, kind of a thing,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel you're in your heart, and we've talked about being in our heart helps us facilitate that presence, because when our mind is yapping, 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 and deciding, and some people call it, I've been listening to one teacher and he calls it your personality, that thing that we've accumulated while we're living, that helps us navigate life. I'll call that my personality. I've been calling it little Lori. And my big Lori is always just watching and present and available in that joy space. And when I slow myself down and move into my heart, I am more available. And I do, like you just said with Willow, you just can enjoy even her tears. You're not trying to fix it. You can just be in your compassion, it felt like. Somehow that is joy.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is because life itself, being alive, being conscious of being alive and in the moment is joyful. Life is a gift.
It truly is. I was thinking about, I remember when my uncle was going to pass away, and I was talking with him, and it was the end of his life, and he was regretting, and he was scared. What next? And I
Mm.
remember being very touched by all of that. And I happened to go out in the backyard, and I was working in the backyard, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the little things. It's the cup of coffee. We've talked about this before, but it's it's being present to the little things as well as the big things that help us reconnect with the joy of it. And I was asking myself, what if this is my last life on earth? I don't
Mm.
assume, you kind of would savor every moment, wouldn't you? The good, the bad, the not so good, the not so whatever. I think
Right.
it is a savoring that I want to be more mindful of instead of judging and arguing or protecting or going into my unconsciousness that is so easy to do just to become the habit instead of really enjoying the moment, whatever it is.
Right. Right.
That's kind
Right.
of an unexpected outcome to me of this year of us setting up time and talking. And when you first sent out that text to me about, well, what do we want to talk about? And you said, well, what about joy and where was it and where wasn't it? Did it show up or not? At first I was like, "Ah, I don't want to do that. I didn't even want to do it. But I was like, no, Lori, give yourself permission to dive into that question. And I'm kind of surprised that the outcome is that there are times when I, feel pulled out of it. And it's around that. It's when I get into my head, when I get overwhelmed and I'm not in my heart and I pull away from the presence of whatever is showing up.
Right. And irony of this is, I think it's harder to stay in that present moment of joy during the holidays
It
than
is
it is.
irony. Yeah, right. Holiday, woo woo,
Right,
celebration.
right. Yes. Yeah, because there's expectations, there's like trying to please everybody, there's all this. We get caught in years of our stuff with our families.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, all the
and it
habit.
right, and it pulls us right out of that place of joy. Um,
And
instead of
ease
those
and
days, yeah,
contentment. Yeah.
yeah, yes, those days when we were kids and we didn't have expectations. Everything was just a surprise.
Yeah. Right. Santa's coming and oh, we're gonna eat cookies and all that stuff. Everything is just an unfolding, right?
Right,
I for some reason I one of the quotes I had written down was ease is the universal currency. And I think around the holidays, ease kind of out the window. And I know there's
right,
a lot of people who get together and they make cookies and they do all kinds of joyful things. And the grace around, can we keep the ease even while we're preparing for the cookies, even while we're cleaning up after the cookies, you
right.
know? But yeah, I was really surprised how quickly I fell into I put on my old Lori hat, holiday personality, and I don't, I don't mind her. She's lovely, but there was definitely something that gave me a migraine after, whatever.
Right, yeah, which just says a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, whenever I get migraines, it's me it's over me trying to deal with the overwhelm. And again, it made me realize that pulled me out of my joy presence place.
right.
So
Yeah, an ironic thing. Just to, we wait for the holidays all year. My house is decorated, my Christmas tree's up, all that stuff, and yet I can just get pulled out in a moment.
I was thinking, I was wondering, because we've been talking about muscles, is I was going to say joy is a muscle, but I think the muscle really is noticing when you're pulled out of the present moment away from the joy. That's the muscle.
I would agree. Right. Noticing when I'm
Excuse me.
not there, when I'm so preoccupied with,
The
yeah, for lack
doing.
of a better, yes, in doing, that I have forgotten to totally experience myself being.
Right. So the joy, the muscle is noticing when you're pulled away from the heart center, from the
Right.
place of ease, contentment, joy, possibility. Like, because my guess is you're fully present with Willow, no matter what you're doing. It's that time she's completely devoted to you, and you're completely devoted to her. You're not thinking about anything else.
Right. No, that's true.
Oh
That's
man,
true.
that's PhD level humaning. right? That's like you have woo hit the you really have become a full functioning human when you could be fully present like that.
Yes.
Hats off to anyone out there.
Right. Right.
And
Don't give up.
don't
Yes.
right. It's and I think as we develop and become more and more conscious of our consciousness or where we are, it does become a little easier. And then, of course, the grace to say, "Oop, I wasn't there." And give
Right.
the
Right.
willow grace, the grace you'd give a grandchild. You wouldn't be like, "Hey, dummy." You'd just be like, "Oh, that's okay. Wipe your tears. You're good. You're good. You're fine." Wow, if we could only give ourselves that grace
Yes. All the time.
all the
Or at
time.
least 52%.
Right. 52. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
let's
doesn't have to
go
be every
overhead.
time.
Right.
Right.
52%. If we could give
Right.
ourselves that grace, it would
Yeah.
be pretty wonderful. Yeah.
I think the holidays are a great time to practice and notice, and notice if you can just have those moments where you're just in between and you go, "Oh, I'm I'm present. Oh, I got pulled out of presence. I can
Let's
come
go
back
back.
to my
Right.
joy,
Yeah.
my heart moment." Because we all do want to be in our hearts all the time, but the holidays are especially that urge, right? For
Right.
love,
Yeah.
for connection.
Yes. That's why we're watching all those Hallmark Christmas movies
Right. Which I
because,
spent all day yesterday doing with my migraine because
right.
that's all I could do. Happy
Right.
as they are, I wasn't worried about
Yes.
anybody getting hurt whatsoever.
Exactly.
And I knew it was all going to
Exactly.
work out in the end. They were going to find true love.
Right. There's a Hallmark movie this year called Hot and Frosty. And
I haven't seen that one.
well, you should.
I will.
Anyway,
Come on.
because of the title, my son was just freaking out. Turn this off the TV set. It's hot and frosty. It's going to be all sexy. And it wasn't, of
No,
course.
it's
There's the
hot
first,
chocolate and Frosty the
the,
Snowman.
it's a Hallmark movie, right?
Exactly. There's not going to be any porno. I mean, if
No.
you're watching OnlyFans, maybe, but
Oh, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's so funny. It's obvious he's not done an entire day of Hallmark Christmas
No,
movies, or he
yeah,
would know
no.
better, right?
He's still a 30-something boy, man.
Right.
Well, I think I don't know. I really feel like this was worthwhile for me to kind of reflect on, the year of joy. And I'm surprised at what came out for me. Were you surprised by anything that came out for you?
You know, um, yes and no. I think like you, I always pick a word for the new year at the
Right.
beginning, and I wait for it to intuitively show up when I'm meditating, but I always have an expectation
Mhm.
when that word comes up. And I'm always surprised at the end of the year over what's shown up in regards to that word. So I guess my expectation now is whatever I start the year off saying, "Oh, this is a great word," or "Ooh, this word, so much could come up," is going to be nothing like my reflection on it by the end of the year. My reflection of that word by the end of the year is going to be totally unexpected. So um, I'll say this was unexpected because I I started that the idea of joy would be a particular experience or an event that brought joy instead of I was just sitting there feeling like, wow, what a blissful moment.
Mhm.
Right. I certainly, yeah. But yeah. So I'm always surprised.
Yeah, it's our human mind that says, "Oh, I got the great job," or "Oh, I got the boyfriend," or "Oh, I got and that brought me joy." And it's not an
Right.
exclusive, it's not to say that it's inclusive of that too. But yeah, I think what we're feeling is this joy is it's more, it's not a specific event per se.
Right. Right. No, it's consciously being present and realizing that you're present.
Right. And enjoying the
Right?
moment of
And
that
just
present.
enjoying it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Well, I think you had a reading that I think is a great wrap for
Yes.
today. And
And
maybe
it's
people want to listen to this again for this because it's a beautiful little, I don't know, saying, poem. Was it a poem?
it's a poem, yeah. So it's from the book For Lovers of God Everywhere by Roger Housden, Poems of the Christian Mystics. And this is John O'Donohue. A blessing. May the light of your soul guide you. May the light of your soul bless the work you do with the secret love and warmth of your heart. May you see in what you do the beauty of your own soul. May the sacredness of your work bring healing, light, and renewal to those who work with you and to those who see and receive your work. May your work never weary you. May it release within you well springs of refreshment, inspiration, and excitement. May you be present in what you do. May you never become lost in the bland absences. May the day never burden. May dawn find you awake and alert, approaching your new day with dreams, possibilities, and promises. May evening find you gracious and fulfilled. May you go into the night blessed, sheltered, and protected. May your soul calm, console, and renew you.
Mm, that's just so fabulous. I just love that. Love it. Love it. I almost feel like we should do a podcast on it because there's so much wonder and magic in there.
There
Um,
is. There is.
but I love
All right.
the renewal of it. So everyone, I hope this has been helpful to kind of shift your energy or your expectations around joy from being a giant, a major event, which of course it could be, to that present moments of grace that are always tingling everywhere, like Willow, showing us what, a present moment gift is really everywhere at all times. Ease is the universal currency.
I love it.
Yeah. I love being in my heart and hanging out with you. So thanks so much. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Everyone, yes, be well and enjoy the season.
Yes, enjoy in presence.